How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. There's something really fascinating that I think is going to happen very soon. And I actually sold a bit of Bitcoin here today to invest in something else. This is the first time I've done this in a very long time. Very, very long time. Usually I do not touch my Bitcoin, but I am speculating with a small bit of it on another large asset. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, there's going to be a link underneath the video to Margex. In case you want to trade cryptocurrency, you can do it over on Margex. As you can see, we are looking quite bullish. When you just zoom out, we have a higher low, possibly a higher high coming in here soon if we can bust over 65,000. We did break out of this trend line as well. And on the 1 day, we can see we did go over the 100-day just slightly. The 200-day. We broke out slightly above it, then kind of got rejected by it. So hopefully we can break that level, break 65, and then we're off to the races. If you want to long the market, you can do it over on Margex. If you want to short the market, you can do it on Margex. They're doing a big Caspa airdrop right now. So check this out underneath the video. As you can see, Bitcoin falling down just slightly this morning, but ETH is up. ETH making a nice move over 2,500. Of course, like you can see though, when you scroll out, it has been pretty ugly still. 2024, with us going up to 4,000, falling down to 2,800, then back up to 3,900. Lower high though, about the same bottom, and then we just broke through it. Now it looks like we are setting a bit of a higher low here. We have rallied a bit. We're up at 2,500. Solana looking quite bullish as well. Solana up at 146, even broke 150 earlier. It went up to 153. But yeah, still just bouncing off these bottoms, some lower highs here. But if Bitcoin rips, these altcoins are most likely going to rip as well, as in they're going to rip upwards. Bitcoin dominance falling down slightly today with some of these altcoins moving up and Bitcoin falling down slightly, but still at 58%. This is higher than it's ever been with the exception of the last 3 or 4 days. Bank of Japan kept interest rates at 0.25%, which is good news here today. I know obviously a lot of people were worried about the Japanese carry trade. That looks like, they're trying to keep everyone comfortable not raising rates anymore because that was apparently devastating to the world economy. The market in general is coming down just a little bit since yesterday after, we had an awesome day in the market. So not crazy to think we would see a little bit of a pullback here today if, we stay down like this. MicroStrategy has acquired another 7,420 Bitcoin for 458.2 million at 61,750 per Bitcoin. This is all new as of today. They've achieved a Bitcoin yield of 5.1% quarter to date and 17.8% year to date. As of 9/19, we hodled 252.22 thousand Bitcoin acquired at about 9.9 billion or about 39,266 per Bitcoin. This is coming after just a few days ago when he announced that they bought more Bitcoin as well. What was that? I think it was earlier this week, September 13th. So a week ago, they announced that they acquired another 18,300. At this point, they were 4.4% quarter to date in Bitcoin yield. Now, 5.1. 5.1. So every shareholder just got another 0.7% Bitcoin per share. 0.7% Bitcoin per share. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I'm a MSTR holder. This is an asset that gets more Bitcoin per share, and there aren't many assets like that. They don't dilute necessarily. They do dilute, but they are accretive each time they dilute, and they buy more Bitcoin than what they're diluting by, which is awesome. Now, with interest rate cuts this week, it's kind of an interesting point in the market, right? This is the daily here. 2 days ago, we were at the high point for Bitcoin dominance, 58.7. This is the day that we saw cuts. We're at pretty significant levels, if you look at the past cycle, where we saw some support here, which could flip into resistance on Bitcoin dominance. I don't think we're going to get up to 74% Bitcoin dominance during this bull run. I could always be wrong, right? We could have a massive breakout on Bitcoin that shoots it up, but what we've seen typically in the past is Bitcoin dominance comes down over time. There are more good projects in the ecosystem, and that draws more money. So you look at here, we're at pretty significant resistance here too, right? We broke out a while ago on this, but I would not be surprised to see another lower high this cycle in Bitcoin dominance, even though Bitcoin's price goes up. Now, one crypto that has been absolutely beaten down by Bitcoin or against Bitcoin is Ethereum. I mean, everyone's watching it. It's falling down, 50%, 60% against the peak. Yep, 56% since 2021 against Bitcoin. This was obviously like the top of the bull market back in 2021. You can actually see it was about 2 weeks after Bitcoin started falling down. Ethereum was still holding up, and then it just crashed. So since 2021, Ethereum's lost 56% of its value compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's obviously rallied pretty well this year. So right now, the ETH Bitcoin chart shows 0.04. It was at 0.038 just a few days ago at when the Fed changed rates. Right now, I think this is kind of a turning point in the market because we are most likely going to head into a bull season. There's going to be more liquidity. People are going to look for outsized returns. Benjamin Cohen actually does a very good job of explaining this. He said, I've said for years that the bottom on ETH BTC would be between 0.03 and 0.04. We just went to 0.03833. Timing the exact bottom is a fool's errand. I think that ETH BTC will carve out a strong support level between now and end of year. If 0.038 fails to hold as support, 0.036 could provide support, as is also the 2016 high. Again, I don't know where the exact low is. Worst case scenario is in my view is 0.03, but I would be surprised if it actually went that low. So there's no ambiguity. I think ETH BTC will go up in 2025. And squabbling over whether the low is 0.03 or 0.036 or 0.038 will seem irrelevant. Last cycle, ETH BTC bottomed when quantitative easing, which could still be a ways off when quantitative easing began. But a counterpoint is that 2016 and 2019, when ETH BTC broke down, it only took 7 to 8 weeks to bottom. And we are currently on week 8. Be open-minded and flexible to short-term moves, but I think the bulk of the downtrend is over. Please remember, ETH BTC is not the same as ETH USD. In both 2016 and 2019, when ETH BTC broke down, ETH USD went down in Q4, even though in 2019, ETH BTC bottomed in September. So interesting post. I think he makes a lot of good points. I actually took a small percentage, about 1% of my Bitcoin, and put it into Ethereum here today. Now, some people will say never sell your Bitcoin. Some people will say that number is irrelevant. For me, I think of this as more speculative, right? I would much rather hold on to Bitcoin long term. I think it's less risky than Ethereum, but also this is a bit of speculation. To me, that 1% is still a hard-earned 1%. It's significant in my mind, and quantitatively, it is significant. So putting it into something riskier, I don't want this to, I don't want ETH to be destroyed this bull run. And I already have Ethereum, right? I have Ethereum. So this adds to that Ethereum stack. But also, I do think that this is a turning point. I've thought this whole time that we're going to bottom out at some point. I want to invest more into alts, just in general. Like in the bull run, I plan on investing into alts more when we start to see that mega push up, and then I'll take profits quickly. Like I'm not going to sit here and watch ETH BTC go up to 0.08 and just sit on my hands. Like I'll probably be taking some profits, assuming both the ETH BTC, numbers up, but also the USD value of ETH is going up. But this provides, I think, some interesting abilities here to get an outsized return, because if Bitcoin goes up to 120, 130, and we go to 0.08 on ETH BTC, that's a 4x, right? Ethereum's 4xing when Bitcoin 2x's. I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen, but I think it's a pretty good risk to reward right now. BTC is near all-time highs, and Ethereum is closer to 60%. Actually, it's closer to 50% of its all-time high. We're sitting at $24,000 or $2,400, and the high is around almost 5,000. Now, a different way you could play this is you could play the Bitcoin chart and put ETH as collateral. Like if you didn't want to actually sell any of your Bitcoin, but you just wanted to have a little bit of a payout on ETH, but also on Bitcoin. So it's kind of like I guess it's like a halfway in between, right? If ETH outperforms, you don't necessarily get that in the trade, but you get ETH as collateral. So you could do something like that. You could also put ETH on the chart and use Bitcoin as collateral. I suppose I could have done that as well. But I'm going with the pure Bitcoin to Ethereum trade. Again, not a huge amount, but I do think that this week has been a game changer that, with the Fed lowering rates, everything really has changed in a lot of investors' minds. Like they have to start finding homes for some of their cash. I mean, I already got notice from a couple of my banks that my interest rates were just lowered. So yeah, a lot of people are thinking the same thing, like, hey, I need to find some place to put this. Luckily, we've been investing the entire bear market, and up to this point in the bull market as well, we've been investing pretty well, making trades as well. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Let me know if you are moving some of your Bitcoin around, if you are investing in ETH or Solana or anything like that, if you think Bitcoin dominance is going to fall. I am still extremely bullish on Bitcoin. I don't want to get flack in the comments, but I'm still extremely bullish on Bitcoin, which is why I just took a small percentage, because I still love Bitcoin. Right? Of course, you don't want to marry your bags, but I think Bitcoin is a bit of religion and a bit of a financial instrument. I think a lot of people feel very strongly about it. Of course, some people might say I'm saying something I shouldn't by saying it's a bit of religion, but people think that Bitcoin is freedom. They feel very strongly and emotionally about it. And I realize that, and that's always something to take into consideration as well. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Check out the links underneath the video to Margex in case you want to trade. Let me know your thoughts on all this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.